Till evening. ಹಿಂದಿಯವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್, ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ರಂಜಿತ್, 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 ರಂಜಿತ್. That is fine now. That side is also not fine. But they'll walk out. Yeah, this is really marketing. What is this? Micelio, no? Chakalingam? Okay, got it. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. No, you can call me Privil. It's Privil's privilege to host such a gathering of bright young minds. So can you all say good morning, just good morning, or you can just say good morning, Privil, all right? Good morning. You can call me by my first name, that's all right. Okay, because we are all aspiring to have a career in different avenues, but EV is definitely a place that we would love to explore, isn't it? Yes or no? No. Yes or no, guys? Come on, everybody. All right. So we are here to know more about what's in store for me apart from the gifts and prizes that I have promised and committed. What's in store for me in terms of a career? What's in terms of networking with those wonderful people who are doing some amazing work in the EV ecosystem? And then I am absolutely delighted to welcome our beloved panelists and our beloved moderator on the special occasion of this eco-friendly initiative, which is EV Ready Expo, Karnataka's largest EV expo, supported by the Ministry of Heavy Industries, Government of India. So can we all give a huge round of applause, a special, welcome to all of you for showing up in such a huge number. I'm not convinced with the energy because you guys are students. When I say 3 to 1, make loud noise so that everybody out there should walk inside. 3, 2, 1, everybody! Oh, I would love that. Bring that energy out, don't worry. 3, 2, 1! All right. Today's topic is going to be EV opportunities in India. And to kick off our panel, please welcome Mr. Martin David, Head of Business at Micelio, with over 20 years of experience in tech leadership. He spearheads the Micelio Discovery Studio, a premier EV testing facility, and the AR/AI partner Digital Twin Lab in Bengaluru. A former entrepreneur in India and Taiwan, Martin's cross-cultural experience in scaling ecosystems perfectly aligns with his core philosophy, which is think globally to act locally. Can we all give a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Martin David. Let us now welcome Mr. Annamalai Chokkalingam onto the stage, please. The founder of Avid, a pioneer in the automotive software since 2007. Mr. Annamalai is actively building our future EV workforce. Through Avid EduTech, he upskills major OEMs and partners with the Skill India initiative to train 4,000 students every semester. As the creator of India's only open programmable ECU, his mission is clear: to make automotive electronics accessible to everyone. Let us all put our hands together and welcome Mr. Annamalai Chokkalingam. Up next, we have Mr. Karthik Reddy from Red Hill Infra as we discuss the startups and skills driving the EV ecosystem. Mr. Karthik brings the ultimate reality check to the stage, the voice of the end user. As an early EV owner himself, he knows exactly what daily pain points our startups need to solve and what skills our technicians actually need to learn. Combined with his background in real estate development, right here in Bengaluru, Mr. Karthik bridges the gap between what the industry is building and the physical infrastructure needed to support it in our homes and communities. Let us all give a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Karthik Reddy to this discussion. There's an announcement. There's a phone that's missing here. So if anybody finds a phone, just please make sure you give it back to the concerned person. Okay? And to steer today's crucial conversation on EVs opportunities in India, education, skills and startup ecosystem, please welcome our moderator, Mr. Suresh Narasimha, co-creator and managing partner at Co-Create Ventures. With over 2 decades of tech and entrepreneurial experience, Suresh is the driving force behind India's grassroots innovation. Through Co-Create Ventures, he focuses heavily on the education and skill side of the startup world, investing at the idea stage and partnering directly with the universities to turn our brightest students into successful founders. Because he actively incubates deep tech and builds ecosystems from the campus up, there's absolutely no better equipped to guide our panel today. Let us all give a warm welcome to our moderator, Mr. Suresh Narasimha, onto the stage, please. My dear friends, I am not going to officially hand over the stage to our panel and the moderator unless you all make some noise and a huge round of applause to our beloved moderator and the panelists. Come on, everybody. I cannot hear you. You are the driving force. You have to make a lot of noise. Come on, everybody. 3, 2, 1, everybody. Perfect. So, over to you.
Thanks. Okay, let me start with a quick survey because so that we fine-tune some of our discussions based on what your interests are. How many of you are from engineering background here? Okay, and how many of you are from management background? Those who are doing MBAs, this one. Rest of it are pure science, commerce, degree college. That's what I should assume, right? Okay, good. Okay, let me start with a question. How many of you believe EV is just about replacing petrol with the batteries? How many of you believe EVs are just about replacing petrol with your batteries? Okay, right? So I will tell you why I am asking this question, right? This is, while this is definitely an alternative for your mobility, it's a great opportunity for you, right? In fact, if we take it seriously, this could be our next IT opportunity, right? So what software did to some of us, right? That EV can do to you. It's a great career opportunity, right? It can be a great opportunity for building your skills, finding your next job, hopefully finding your next startups. That's what I do, right? I go motivate students to think hard, build amazing ventures and we will fund them, right? We'll fund them so that they become very, very successful. That's what we do, right? So what I want you to remember throughout this discussion is that it's a great opportunity for you, and if you are lucky, this is the moment that can transform you from just someone who is looking for a job to someone who is building a great career, right? That's an opportunity that awaits you, and no better panel than what we have here. Each of them have entrepreneurs, they understand technology, they are doing a lot of work in the space that you guys are connected with, right? Around education, around startups, around innovation, and around the infrastructure. So we have great people to help us navigate through this path. So let me start by asking Martin, right? So Martin, before even we get to, right, considering their students, I just want you to give us two answers in terms of where we are as EV industry today, right? Both in terms of the industry and the career opportunity, and where do you think we can be in next 5 years?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much to the team here, for the organizers, for inviting here. It's a pleasure to be in front of young minds. I wish I was on the other side, but I think, but this side is also interesting, and I hope one day all of you are on this side of the story too, 5 years or 10 years from now. To answer your question, from a career point, definitely this sector is quite exciting because the industry itself is very, very nascent. The reason that I moved from another industry to the EV industry, the automotive industry, is because I can be at page with the youngsters like you who are entering the sector. Because this is a very young sector, the innovation is growing, and it's still a lot more to grow. And India is a very, very prime market for EV as such. So hence, at this stage of my life, I moved it so that I still have some more time so that I can retire peacefully. Otherwise, I'm always a threat from youngsters. So EV industry is all of us on the same page. We have a lot of time to do, a lot of innovations to be happening. Unfortunately, in India, we have always had this inventor's mindset. Innovation is not there. But if all of us can be innovators, I think we can build something in India for the world. We have the opportunity to build IP-led products and innovations which can be for the world. We've not dominated the automotive industry in the world. We've done it probably a little bit. I think even in software we are yet to. He can answer more on that. But we have the opportunity to build in India for the world. So that's, I think, the opportunity and the dream that I have for India in the years to come.
Excellent. So I will tell you one thing about EV industry here. In software, what used to happen, irrespective of what branch you are in, you just go learn some coding and probably you would have got into a job, right, few years back. Now it's no longer the case, it's a very different issue. But EV brings a very, very different experience, advantage, right? If you are extremely interested in physics, EV has job openings for you, right? Motors is all about physics, right? Or if you are from the mechanical or automobile, there is enough that you can do with the EV industry. If you are hardcore chemistry fan, then battery is all about chemistry, right? That's an opportunity that's available for you. If you are a chemical engineer or a chemistry fan, EV industry offers you something. If you are into electrical, electronic sensors, right, there is no better place than EV today. And if you are into software, right, so in fact, later on we'll discuss about some of it, right? So someone like Ather shifts the new feature every day once in 2 days, right? They can ship a new feature, right? It's a completely new way of thinking about the software. So whether you are a chemistry student or physics student, whether any branch of engineering, EV offers you some work. If you are into an MBA or commerce, the kind of business models that are being built and disrupted is changing every day, right? So EV offers something for all graduates. That's the advantage that we have. Now with that as a background, let me go back to Annamalai and ask him, how is he looking at the EV industry and what are the bottlenecks right now in terms of the skilling?
I would answer two questions here. So the first question is, as a person who's starting your career, where would you want to get a job? When I got a job 20 years back into the auto industry, right, I knew only if they were rich they can start an automotive company, right? You need lots and lots of money to start that. That means they have good money to pay as well, right? That applies with EV as well. right? If someone has to manufacture a vehicle, right, he has to have a huge setup, he needs...
Annamalai, but all of them have more money than you and me.
Yeah.
Ask them.
Right? So all of us study to get into a good job, right? And the second thing that I will like to also address here is, where do you want to be? Like sir said, you know, you could be in software, learn some programming and be part of the bulk hiring, or you could be part of EV, which is niche, new, latest, very few people, you know, moving towards that direction and has opportunities for all the fields that exist in your education curriculum, right? But one of the biggest bottlenecks today is when we talk about automotive, right? We always assume it's a mechanical industry. We always assume that I have to work in these factories and I have to put my blood and sweat into it and all that. And that lets a lot of people move away from this branch. That's what we are seeing, but that's not true. Like how sir said, you know, there are many areas that you can explore, and all of that needs a special skill, right? And you will have to upgrade yourself into those areas, right? One of the biggest bottlenecks that we have in the market today is getting good EV software engineers, because EV is all about software innovation. Today we are talking about software defined vehicle, right? We are talking about like Ather, who's updating software every now and then, giving you new patches, right? But there is a huge lack of expertise in this area in India, right? And who can contribute very well to this is not just computer science students. Computer science students are good at the software side of the story, but they know how the vehicle runs within the laptop, right? But we need engineers who can make this run on road, right? So we need good mechanical engineers who understand this domain. We need good chemical engineers who understand this domain. We need good electronic engineers who understand the software that goes on these vehicles, right? So there is a huge opportunity out there, and there is a huge amount of effort being put into reskilling and upskilling and skilling people into this area. And that is one of the things that we do, right? We do it not only for freshers, but we also do it for OEs who have tons of mechanical engineers who need to be now converted into electronic engineers, right? So the bottlenecks are shortage of manpower, shortage of manpower, shortage of manpower.
Okay. Okay, we'll come to this in detail, right? Let's get to Karthik. Karthik, probably, you probably reflect a lot of the challenges that they have, right? So, as an EV enthusiast and as a person who is building the infrastructure for the city, right? What are the bottlenecks that you see, right? So, okay, I mean, how many of you have a EV vehicle here? I mean, either two-wheeler or four-wheeler at home. How many of you have a EV? I mean, how many of you think that you have enough charging infrastructure in the city? Do you guys believe we have enough charging infrastructure in the city? Right? I mean, this gets me back to asking you, right? What are the bottlenecks, right? What do you think we as an probably one of the best upcoming cities in the world today, what do you think we should do to make sure that most of us will end up using EV?
So as a EV user, see, I've been using EV vehicle from almost 2.5 years. First bottleneck is, as everybody also said, it's EV infrastructure and EV infrastructure consistency as well. That's what I would say. Now, infrastructure, yes, it's rapidly growing. We are seeing a lot of charging stations all around. But are they consistent is the question. You find it on app, you go there, it will not be up and running. I'm 100% sure that a lot of students would have experienced this. If it is working, is it compatible is the second question. If it's compatible, if it's engaged, how much time will it take for me to get my turn? That's the third question. Fourth thing, once all this is said, there will be n number of apps nowadays. There is no standardization of apps. It's not plug and play today. It has become app and pay. Every time you go to charging station, there will be a different app, there will be different payment gateways. These are the things that I have personally experienced. So I think all of you who are owning EV currently, you guys who have experienced this, that is the major bottleneck today. You know, rather than sales, we think first we need to fix infrastructure, then go. See, sales is easy. You can always sell. If you have your core ready, sales is easy. But what we are doing today, what entrepreneurs are doing today is, they are behind sales, they sell, there's no service, there's no infrastructure, and we, the end users, we are facing all the issues.
Okay. I think that's a word of caution, right? But from your perspective, that's an opportunity, right? So I know that in last probably 5 years, tons of charging companies came in and lot of apps. Companies which created app came in, and I'm sure some of you, if you are interested in building a startup anytime, you would have thought about, okay, can I build a charging infrastructure, or can I build an app that will help me connect with all the charging infrastructure? Some of you, that's one of the most common idea that I receive from lot of colleges when we go there, right? But here are some of the inputs that you should take it, right? So let's get to the talking about startups. I want to get to the startups. How many of you really believe you want to create some startup over next 5 years? How many of you want to build a startup of your own in next 5 years? None. You are very smart here, right? So, and like, how many of you want to work in a startup? How many of you want to work in a startup? There are people who are following you, right? You will get your internship if you raise your hands. How many of you want to work in a startup? Right? So, while there are not many startup enthusiasts, still to close it, right? I still want to take some of those stuff, right? So, as I said, the advantage of EV is it pretty much creates an opportunity for startups in across the sector, right? Whether it's in the commerce, whether it's in finance, reuse, sustainability, you name the industry, you can create a startup that connects EV in that industry, right? Martin, I have a question for you, right? Both you and this one, because you are looking at a lot of startups. Are there really interesting companies coming up, right? Do you really think we have a chance to build an IP rather than just building a consumer market? Do you really think there is an opportunity to create next best EV from India?
Yeah, definitely there's an opportunity, because unfortunately or fortunately we have not created startups which focus on IP. Very, very few startups have focused on IP-led innovation. Otherwise it's mostly been, quick fix, assembling solutions, etc., or integrating it, or the earlier EV boom we saw was CKD, bring it from China, put it together, change the badging and go to the market. IP-led, very few. I've only seen, quickly can recall, as one is Chara, which is into the motor space. They make on rare earth materials, a motor. And then one of my favorite ones which we have invested is called Nopo, which make carbon nanotubes. He's probably one of the 5 in the world who's also worked with a little bit of Tesla. He's worked with a little bit with TSMC in Taiwan. They make the cheapest carbon nanotubes and has wide applications. Of course, EV is one. It can go even into medical, but that's because he has innovated something very, very unique using the Indian advantages. So those are the IP-led innovations that I think we should focus. Most of the time it has been reverse brain drain. We do it for some German companies, and the technology goes and and the Germans come back and reverse sell it with, we have to pay that license, and then we use it, built by the Indians sitting outside the country. So this has to change. It should be people like him whose software is licensed by the German companies. That's the opportunity that lies ahead for India, especially in the automotive space. So there is a huge opportunity. Money is not the problem today. I think we have people like him and others in the who are ready to give you money. But we need innovators. India needs innovators and not immediately looking at quick and fast solutions.
Right. Annamalai, I want you to answer the same thing, right? Are you seeing interesting ideas coming into the market? What kind of ideas students are coming and presenting it to you as you are building on the skill set? How do you see this whole innovation space and students?
See, now in the EV space, one thing that I've understood with EV coming in is, it has decentralized the automotive market, and it has regionalized the market. So I can make a bike for Bangalore and make it successful. Earlier I had to buy this engine from Europe, from US, from Japan, and assemble it here. Now with the engine going off, right, with EV coming in, everybody is a fresh starter, right? And all of us can be innovators here, right? You don't have to make a brand that goes global, right? I am working on a rural project just to make a e-bicycle that caters to school students who are traveling 4 to 5 kilometers every day, right? With EV, what we have started seeing is you can create innovation within 5 kilometers of your radius. There's so much business capability out there, right? The second thing is, all these years we've been assemblers, right? We have the chance to elevate ourselves to become an innovator. When I was being introduced, they told that I've got this open ECU, first of its kind in India. I actually am proud and ashamed, because ECUs have been existing for 40 years, and it took us 40 years to make one open ECU in India, right? Because we've been just blindly buying this from Europe, from China, from Japan, right? You name. You guys know Bosch, right? We buy ECUs from them. You guys know Lucas, we buy ECUs from them, right? You guys know Suzuki, we buy ECUs from them. And that is why it's Maruti, Suzuki, Hero, Honda, TVS, Suzuki, because they bring in the software, we only assemble it. So there is so much scope for innovation out there, right? Ansett does a lot of innovation, but many a times we feel we are reinventing it for our market. And it is not wrong to reinvent. Because what runs in Germany is different from what runs on your road. Many a time, I was actually recently at an airport sitting with a German, and we were discussing. And actually he brought on to a question saying, guys, I love the way your road transport system is organized, right? Because it can handle two-wheelers, four-wheelers, walking people, cows, dogs, everything on the road, and you still drive so sensibly. Right? The number of accidents that we report are equivalently less. So for me, there is huge scope for innovation in this space.
Annamalai, this one. Probably some of those, their students probably should tell what ECU is and how good the work that you have done. Right? So it's important for them to know. That's what I'm saying.
So you guys were, so how many of you are, so all of you know there is some Raspberry Pi and Arduino, right? So a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino for a vehicle is called ECU, right? When that goes into the vehicle, it is called as the control unit. It becomes the heart of your vehicle, right? You've heard of power steering, adaptive headlights, your side mirrors, when you press the button, they go right, left, right? When you turn on, automatic headlights go on. Your wipers, when water falls, it starts running. Your power brakes, airbags, all of them have an ECU in-house. So it is a computer inside your car. And today, if you can guess how many computers are there inside a car, right? The smallest and the minimum thing could be around close to 20 to 25 computers, and the highest could be about 150 odd computers sitting inside your car. And when there is a computer inside, it automatically needs software. When there is a software, it automatically needs a software engineer. It needs a test engineer. It creates a complete ecosystem of jobs.
That should motivate you. Your car has more computer than your labs here, right? So if you want to innovate, you can't have a better place than your car. That should motivate you. Right?
Yeah. And there's like all of them said, there's huge scope of innovation in terms of not only software, yeah. So I come from that background, so I'm talking about it. But there's a complete ecosystem that has to evolve. The charging stations, the infrastructure, the sales stations, the recycling of battery, which is going to be a huge industry, right? Then what we've also been hearing is there is going to be a huge shortage of good service engineers. EVs have just started selling. So the company has taken responsibility of giving you a warranty. But what happens after the warranty? Right? Once you're done with the free service of your cars, you never want to go to the service station again. You want to go to the nearest service engineer that you have close by. And in India currently, this ecosystem is yet to build.
So input is EV users crib more than your mothers, okay? So if you go and talk to your EV user, probably you will get lot more ideas or lot more problems to solve than what your mothers can give you, right? That's the input that he is giving.
Yeah. If I can double tap a little more, he mentioned in the passing the recycling space. We recently invested in a recycling company called Mini Minds. This is a untapped space if you want to get into, because the second life applications of batteries after it's been used in the automotive, these batteries can be used for your lighting. It could be used in other multiple areas because the life of the battery is still usable. There are a lot of second and third life applications. This is yet to be tapped as an innovation space, so you should always look into it. We import a lot of black mass from other countries, so that's another space again in the recycling space we can factor in. India is very highly import dependent. All these are opportunities for individuals like you. Last piece I want to, as he detailed out, one thing which I want to stress again is he mentioned about engineers. I'm assuming there are a lot of non-engineers here. Building a brand from India for the world is an even larger opportunity, because otherwise we'll only be a consumer country. We should build brands because brands can give you premium, so that we can charge a little more premium and become a profitable company. So opportunity for branding, marketing, selling, all of this for not only for India but the globe is very, very interesting skill set, mindset that we should actually build in our country.
Okay, Karthik, let me talk to you again as an infrastructure vendor and probably a business guy who actually makes money compared to we technology guys, right? Okay, so I have a question for you, right? So you are seeing a lot of brands. He did speak about brands. There are a lot of Indian brands who come and appeal to you. Again, within the real estate, there are a lot of EV integrations that are happening, whether it's a charging station, whether the urban city which is EV friendly, etc. Right? How do you see the whole innovation landscape? Do you think there are enough startups who are appealing to you, or you think no one is even looking into the problems that are out there? Right? What's your call as a user?
Currently, I feel there are no startups who are actually working on this space. That is the fact. There's a lot of scope yet to be tapped, as Martin also saying. There's a lot of scope yet to be tapped, and when it comes to infrastructure space, people, as you said, from inception to building a brand, they're not there. They are just behind numbers. They're just selling. They just want to sell their vehicles or products and show their top line. That's all. Not bothered about infrastructure. They're not. Otherwise, we don't have faced so many issues as an end consumer.
Right. So, in fact, before we get to the skilling, this is what we wanted to tell you. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are worried about your career? How many of you feel that there are not enough jobs for you in the market today, right? With all the things that are happening here, etc. How many of you are worried about your jobs at all? How many of you are worried about jobs, are not finding right jobs in the campus placement, right? Let me give you a powerful hint here, right? Which will ensure that you get a job, right? Otherwise, I'll give you a job. This is my commitment, right? Just listen to me. Just pick up one of the problem, right? I'm not asking you to become a startup. I'm not asking you to start a startup, right? Launch a startup. Pick up one of the problem. When you are in college, start that, solve that problem, and build a startup when you are in campus. Don't try to sell. Don't try to go and raise capital. Just build something and launch when you are in campus. Let me assure you, right, all of you will get placed at a much better salary than what you can imagine, right? So, the reason why I'm telling is, your software development skills may be required, may not be required. Your skills in terms of what you have learned, if you have learned anything in mechanical or electronics, may be required or may not be required, right? If you have learned in commerce or MBA, again assuming you have learned something, right? So, it may be required, may not be required. But one skill that will help you all is your ability to identify the problem and solve it. If you develop this skill, I can assure you, any company out there want to hire you. In fact, what we do is, we go and invest in student teams who wants to build some very interesting projects when they are in campus. If they are good, to help them build their startup. Otherwise, we'll get them acquired with some other great entrepreneurs that we know, right? So my suggestion is, please get motivated, pick up any problem, right? Whether it's a brand, whether it's a chemistry, whether it's a reusability, whether it's a software, whether it's an app, it doesn't matter, or launch a, servicing showroom, anything is okay. But if you build something when you are in campus, I will assure you, you will get a job, much better paying job, and if you are lucky and if you are driven, probably you will build up the next unicorn out of your campus, right? This is what I would suggest you from your career perspective, right? So, and I want to have one more message for the girls here, right? We must have created around 75 startups in last 4 years, all by the students. 60% of my entrepreneurs are girl students, right? 60% of my entrepreneurs are girl students. And you know what? All engineering heavy startups are by the students, by the girl students, right? There is one particular example I want to quote called Smart Chakra, right? What it does auto inflation and deflation of the tires as the vehicle on the move. They have figured out if the air pressure is optimum, your fuel efficiency is much better, right? It's a done by two girls and two boys, right? This is the one which requires mechanical skill, electrical skill, automobile skill and computer science skill. They built it when they are in campus and they sold their company before they left and they are already building their second venture, right? And each of the members of this team, right, got an offer for 15-20 lakhs very easily when they were in campus, right? This is an opportunity to spot a problem and build something when you are in the campus, right? So seriously take this, right? Don't worry about what happens in the college, what happens in the campus placement. Pick up a problem, get passionate, get along with 2 or 3 of your friends and try to build it. I can assure you that you will have a much better career or much better time over next few years than what is there. And that's the reason why we wanted to plug into the startup. Okay, I mean, let me come back to the skills, which is still an extremely important one, right? So, Martin, right, so while they feel there are no jobs, we know that there are no people to take up that job, right? There is a classic misalignment, right? So, I mean, in fact, unfortunately, I mean, I keep saying that while we crib about the fact that these students are not ready for the job here, I also say that the industry that we have is not ready for the bright minds like that. Yes or no? You guys are brighter than the jobs that you are getting, yes or no? Right? I will tell you some example, right? How many of you have studied a research paper? They just studied a research paper as part of your research analysis or the literature review. How many of you have done the literature review, right? I'm sure a lot more people. How many of you have studied any research papers or submitted a research paper as part of your campus, right? So, if you go to campus today, there are enough students, right? In fact, before they pass out, all of them would have studied research literature, which you are not doing here, right? So their approach to research, their ability to research, their ability to understand the subject is lot better than what we in the industry require, right? We think that they are freshers and go and dump them some work, right? That's what we are seeing, right? So there is a gap both in terms of ability of the startups to do the innovation and ability of the students to do the job that the industry requires. Considering this scenario, I want to know from you what kind of opportunity really exists and what is that we should do on both sides to bridge that gap. Martin.
Yeah, this is a very tough question because it's very difficult because sometimes there's a gap between what the industry wants and what the academia that you are forced to learn at times. So it's very difficult for you because you're also confused on how to prepare your first CV, what are the keywords that you need to be putting in the CV and what is the gap analysis between academia and the industry requirement. It's very, very difficult. However, my one example that I can always quote I like is a friend of mine who always does this. He always keeps looking at job opportunities websites and he keeps reading the job description. Irrespective of whether he's looking at the job or not, he keeps looking at all the job description posts being posted by the HRs in different companies and he lifts the keywords and that's how he picks the trends in the industry. And then if he picks up those keywords, then he realizes if he doesn't understand, that means that's something which he needs to upskill himself. So just to give you an example is, I recently picked up one student from North. He only used the word HIL in his CV. That's hardware in loop. There are not many CVs across as freshers who actually put HIL in their loop. HIL in their CVs. He did something around HIL. He knew HIL was something because he worked as an intern in a Tata. He knew, he has not even seen an HIL, he's just heard about it. And he did something around some project he wrote for them and he put HIL. The way I looked at it was, okay, he knows something in HIL. I literally knew he does not know, he's not touched it, but he knew something about it. So hired him and I upskilled him. I ensured he learns more about the agile, and today he's one of my best agile engineers that I have in my lab. Because he was passionate to learn, he was always had, he was able to pick up those key words, the trends, and then he was to position himself well. He had great communication skills. So I said that's enough for me. As long as you're able to pick those key trends and see the gap analysis of what you know and what you don't know, being street smart would definitely help you. Agile is one key sector, one skill that if you want to get into automotive space, please look at hardware and loop. There is software and loop also. There's MIL, SIL and HIL, but this is something which is very, very important, at least if I were to look at it from, and of course cyber security again in the automotive space is very, very interesting. SDV, software defined vehicle, is another interesting space that you can look at. If you've not learned any of these things, please look at these, and if you can lift them and put it into your CV, do some small projects like what he said, it'll great. There's a company called Campus Fund run by Richa Bajpai. Go up to them, see if you can reach out to them. If you have an idea, pitch to them. They fund only startups in campus. If you're a campus student, if you're a student, then they will fund you. That's their focus area. It's called Campus Fund, run by Richa Bajpai, based in Bangalore. So these are the few things, and you need to network with these kind of people and see opportunities so that you can, your growth, because it's a high level competition, right? It's not, I look at not marks at the end of the day. I look at these skills which like he was mentioning, I look at the attitude of the person more than the marks. You can have 99.99, but I would give 100% to somebody who has a great attitude, who have gone that extra effort to see the gap analysis, who have tried to attempt to solve a problem. Those things definitely will give me a 10 on 10 to hire him. That's my perspective, and I hope, yeah.
Right. Thanks. Annamalai, I mean, same thing, right? So, I mean, I will slightly twist this question, right? What should students do to be EV ready, right? Are there jobs available, and what is that they should do to get EV ready in terms of their career?
See, Ansett all these years has grown only because of freshers, right? Because more than 3 years experience, they all want to be in branded companies and move on to larger companies, right? So we hire, like Martin said, we hire only by attitude, right? For us, the point is the student who comes to us should be willing to learn, right? I don't have interviews for freshers, right? If somebody writes to us asking for an internship, we immediately offer an internship. And we try them out for 1 month, right? And our first exercises for first 1 week, we don't give them any job. We want to see the eagerness in them to get up and come to us and nag us to get a job. If he's going to sit there and still say, okay, I've got a nice computer here with good internet speed, let's do some social media time pass, then within 1 month he's off us, right? But if he comes back within the first 1 week and says, I'm feeling bored, give me some work, right? Then we start loading him with work. And we have grown to a 200 people company only by hiring interns, not by lateral hiring. Ansett does not do major lateral hiring from the market, because we believe you're the freshest mind. We can teach you whatever we want, push it into your head, right? So there is a process of unlearning and relearning. In your case, it is only learning, and that kind of helps a startup like us, right? Second thing, when you want to be part of the EV industry, Martin said all the keywords. If you have them on your CV, there are tons and tons of startups and smaller OEs out there who are looking for such associates, right? People who know Hill, SIL, Mill, who know SDV, who know embedded programming, right? Who know how to do techno sales of these items, Martin, right? You want them to also go and sell this product with those keywords in mind. Because today, there were two things that, I remember the ad about these car. I go to the car showroom, they list hundreds of features, and during the petrol and diesel era, we would just ask, kitna deti hai, right? Now it's more about asking, what extra feature do you give me? Do you give me L2 ADAS, L3 ADAS? Does it auto brake? Does it give me reverse parking? And all of those. So gone are the days when people are bothered about the mileage. They are more interested in the feature. And the feature addition happens only through software, right? Resetting a mechanical industry is very expensive, but updating the software is very cheap, right? So for you, for me, the keywords that you should look for is automotive electronics as a base. Understanding how electronics are programmed, how software is going to drive the innovations on these hardwares, right? How you got to enable them cloud-based, AI-based, right? Actually, the SDV keyword is getting outdated. 2 weeks back, I was at another conference where they spoke about AIDV. It's AI-driven vehicles. It's no longer software-driven vehicles, right? So you need to look at these. I would really want you to understand, go and understand what Ather offers, what Ola offers, what Tesla offers, what Bide offers, right? What is the differentiating factor against Mercedes-Benz, against Audi, against BMW, who were dream cars? I'm calling them were dream cars, yeah? They are not our diagrams anymore, right? So I want you to go back, look at these cars, look at the software spec that they are selling, and see if you know how to make these. Right? If you know how to make them, you definitely have a job out there waiting for you.
Right. So, I think I'll just come back. One very important point that you have to take is, whether you are in commerce or science or engineering or management, you like money, you like service, whatever you like, all that you need to do is find a company, write to your CEO. I mean, don't even waste your time applying for the job, this one. Go connect him on the LinkedIn and say that you are a fresher and you want to learn something and you want to get an internship. I send it to 10 people, I can assure you that you will get a much better internship than what regular internships will offer, right? Use your LinkedIn, use very well, you just reach out to them and you will, that's the beginning of your career in EV industry, right? That's what I wanted to tell you. Right, before we get to the next session and then talk slightly more deeper in terms of EV industry as such, I just want to see if any of you have any questions for the panelists. Feel free to just ask us any question that you want, and we would love to answer you before we get to our discussion, right?
Yeah.
And no question is a bad question. Please feel free to. Here.
Yeah, so we have one of our, the voice is echoing, yeah. So we have one of our participants who is looking forward to start his own repair business in the EV. So he's done some certification. So, ನೀವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆನ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
Yeah, my name is Srinivas. Able to hear him? Hello? Hearing? Hello? Yeah. Yeah. My name is Srinivas. Okay, I came from Bangalore. So I need to start up a business in EV repair and service sector. So now I am currently doing some certifications on EV, how EV, the vehicle will work and other things. Okay, so after completion, how I can start the, and how can I collaborate with the OEMs so that I can go forward and learn something on the technical aspects, and how I can build the business on that.
Martin.
Yeah, so I don't know if, I mean, it depends on where you're taking your EV certification, assuming you're getting it in the right places. Associating with OEMs. So OEMs have two strategies. One, they want to own their own service centers, because these days, because of the market brand issues right now, these days OEMs are saying, we will take care of the service. That is one approach. Second approach is they train the dealers to have their own service stations. The last option is they outsource it to third parties as their branded service centers. So there are three ways. It depends on the OEM. So you have to reach out to the OEMs to help you, because each product has its own ways of, you need to understand the product first and before you start servicing them. For example, I know, because we also have a group company which is into manufacturing EV two-wheelers. We do not allow anyone to touch, we say the warranty is void if you touch the service, touch the vehicle. So we ourselves do it, because the other brands which have caused issues in the market because of no service. So we've taken that as a branding policy. So it depends. So you'll have to talk to different EV companies, talk to the OEMs. They have a service head. You have to reach out to them, understand their business model, and accordingly see how you can work with them.
Perfect. So is there any incubation center or anything? I mean, you definitely said about reaching out to the service heads, right? Is there any alternative way for, quick turnarounds and any other approach?
There have been plenty here. There are multiple people who have tried to be it, but their success ratio, in my knowledge, is not very high. So I don't want you to be demotivated and tell you go and start a startup and then it's easy success. No. As a first step, I think you should understand whether there is a business model viability at all. If the OEMs don't allow you to touch their vehicle, then the startup has no value. Like the multi-brand outlets at one point, these days nobody is going the MBO route. Everybody is putting their own showrooms. Earlier there used to be a option called MBOs. You can sell it through multi-brand outlets. Not many OEMs are doing that right now. At least the top 10 are not doing it. So you have to evaluate the market potential and then get into it.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Chatur Kumar. I am an electrical engineer from Cambridge Institute of Technology. I had a question for all the panel members. Like all the panel members spoke about the charging the battery infrastructure and a lot of things. Like, have any of you guys thought about charging the vehicle using another vehicle?
There is vehicle to grid technology, so you can, are you talking about vehicle to vehicle?
Yes, sir.
You can. It's already available.
Vehicle to vehicle is
Like-
something.
Yes, sir. Like,
Yes.
have you improved that field? Like, without, like, usually for charging, we need a lot of infrastructure. But can we try charging a vehicle using another vehicle? Like, using communication devices or any other networking areas?
See now, I don't know how many of you know, see when we talk of battery, today the first thing we relate that to is an EV vehicle, right? But we work also in the energy sector, right? So, according to a battery company, this EV battery, the small batteries, is only 2% of their business. Their business comes in energy storage devices, the container storages, right? And I don't know if you've heard of these startups that are doing this fueling on the wheel, right? So you can also do charging stations on the wheel, where these storage devices are mounted on a vehicle. They can come up to you, charge your vehicle, and put you back on the road, right?
Like, recently I read.
Just to add, Tesla makes more money in BESS than selling cars. So energy storage is a bigger business, which you will see very soon. Even Indian companies, all of them getting into BESS because that's a larger revenue source. So vehicle to grid, giving it back to the grid, vehicle to vehicle, all these are available technologies. Basically, it's nothing but energy on wheels. All the EVs are basically energy on wheels.
Recently, I read an article saying that where the vehicles can have ejectable batteries. Is there any such research going on in any of your companies?
Senthil, okay, I really love the way you are asking questions, right? Sorry, right? My suggestion to you is this, right? So, as they are saying, right, that there are multiple things that are happening around the technologies, right? In terms of, if your car can store the battery, it can as well distribute it too. That's the way they are coming from. My suggestion to you is, go spend more time, do a lot more research and build some prototype and try to demonstrate it, right? So again, I will go back to the original point that I'm saying. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Right? Just go and search for failed founder. Go to LinkedIn and search for failed founder, right? You'll be amazed to look at the number of results that you get, right? If you try something in the campus and if you fail, it's still okay. The only loss is you will get a better salaries, right? My suggestion to you guys are, when you are interested in a topic like this, please go and build something, right? Build a prototype, learn something, submit a paper, right? If you think you have a novel idea, go and file for a patent, right? So even if you fail in terms of launching it or raising companies, raising capital, you are still be valuable, right? So don't stop at this theory, just go and build something, right? We don't say we are a failed Ashiki, do we? We will not say we are failed Ashiki, no, but people say failed founder because failed founders too have a lot of value, right? That's what I wanted to come back to you and tell you. Please don't stop at that, right? Continue working on this thought, and then I'm sure you have a much better infrastructure in your college to support you, right? Go and take it up. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have a question here.
My name is Vaibhav. I am an engineering student studying in third year. I want to ask how to make EV and start its production.
EV?
How to make EV and start its production at this level.
Are you part of the SAE Baha races in your college? That's where you start. You have to be, see, now SAE India conducts lots and lots of car racing events called the Baha races, the Formula Bharat races, right? And that is where they teach you how to build a vehicle, how to take it to road, how to get it tested, and that's where you start all this learning. So I would recommend you form a SAE Baha team in your college and start participating in the EV races that they organize.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is one of the booths where there's a prototype placed. So that's the starting point for all the students, you know, to ask their questions there. Perfect. We have a question here. I just got to know. Anybody? All right. In startups, we look for problems more than, you know, solutions which come quickly. So you need to ask those tricky questions to our panel so that we can get more answers. So anybody? Any questions, any doubts that you want to ask the panel? Don't be shy, yeah.
First of all, good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to ask a question regarding the sustainability of these EVs. Because now our main priorities from like globalization is now sustainability and good infrastructure. So do you think EV will provide that infrastructure and sustainability together, hand in hand?
Okay, I mean, in fact, whole belief is that EV is the sustainability answer, right? You are asking a question. But, I mean, I just want you to clarify sustainability from the environment perspective or from the finance perspective?
Like, I'm talking about the finance perspective.
You are talking
because
from
EVs are like comparatively increasing the prices of their products also.
Okay, I mean, that's a, I just said this one, right? So you want? Yeah, please start.
So, coming to this question, you said sustainability. Mr. Suresh asked all of you, how many of you guys want to be entrepreneurs or how many of you guys want to start up? Nobody raised hands. Then when he said, do you want to do jobs? We saw few of them raising hands. So when you say sustainability, it is, if we work towards it, that is when it will happen. We can't just sit and say, will we go there? If we all say, and even Annamalai sir said that, when it comes to EV, we are not just producing bikes or the products. It requires software, it requires electrochemistry, it requires physics, it requires financing. You said you are from finance background. Now think about this. If you have to sell, we'll have to provide loans. Then how do you work out on it? How can you reduce it? Today, most of the batteries have been imported. If we can produce it here, obviously cost goes down, right? So, coming to infrastructure also, if at all young talents like you, if you guys analyze problems and see what is the solution for those problems. Even one gentleman asked, bike, can I charge with another bike? What problem are you trying to solve there? If you think what problem are you trying to solve, and if you can get there, hit it straight, then 100% it will be sustainable or no. So it is we who have to decide whether we have to get there or no.
Right. I think that's a question that should, I mean, I had missed out some of the things that I want to get back to you, right? So today, if you just look into it from the startups perspective, for entrepreneurs perspective, right? What are the most difficult for them, right? Why are the startups failing in the EV industry, right? So I just want to get your perspective on what are the bottlenecks or what are the reasons why startups in EV are failing, right? Or what are the reasons why some of them are successful is what I wanted to have, right? Is it funding? Is it availability of skill? Is it the market? Is it the technology? Is it the focus? It's a business model. What's the reason why EV entrepreneurs are failing is the question that I have for you, Martin.
Couple of reasons. One, of course, some of the capital, the people who put the capital on these ideas are not probably very automotive, understand the automotive space, because it's a very, they say it's patient capital. Not many VCs are up for a patient capital model. That could be one. But one of the other flip side to the other story is, from the VC point of view, if there is no IP, then the entry barrier is very less. So then the risk appetite is also less for most of the VCs. So then if there's no IP in it, then then there's no capital coming in. So if your startup, if your idea is only a copy paste from something else, then the risk of success is very, very low. So I think you should look at, again, I'll still come back to the point of IP led, which is very low in our startup ecosystem. That's one of the probable reasons that you will fail, because you're up against legacy players who are actually, if you late, Bajaj and TVS came late in the space, but they're selling 20,000 vehicles per month and they are now in the top 2. So if you don't have a great moat, then it'll be very difficult for you to actually sustain yourself. So look at innovations, see the business model innovations, technology to fit it, IP-led innovations. I think all of these factors, then the capital is easier to get, then your success rate is much more faster.
Okay, I think he said too many things. My suggestion is just pick up one of the innovations here. Okay, so I mean, anyway, we'll come to this point after that, right? So what do you think? Why do you think startups fail?
See, like Martin said, 2 days back I was at a conference and we were talking to some VCs, and one of them came out and said, Malay, too many upma sellers in the market, right? The startups are getting, too application oriented, too superficial, right? The VCs are interested in deep tech now, right? Gone are the days where we kept claiming we are 140 crore population and I can show revenue because of our population. Because the startups are not even leaving the cities to reach to those 140 crore population, right? So if you want really to, most of the EV startups are failing due to lack of innovation, right? That's what we have been seeing from the software side of the story. Right? They think that I can buy all these equipment. I know a lot of startups, not just startups, even the Fortune 500s go on a window shopping to China, pick up all the items, put it in a container, come back, put it together and say I've launched a vehicle. Right? And there is no innovation out there. And why would I fund that? Like there's no IP in that. Right? Finally, I can unassemble that, see the part names, import them again and assemble it back. So the lack of innovation is what is making the EV startups fail. Innovation not only on the engineering front, innovation could be on the sales model front, innovation could be on the service model front, right? Innovation could be on your financing front, right? So the need for innovation is what is making the EVs fail. There is no shortage of funds, not at all, right? We have our moderator sir, who himself is a funding guy, right? So if you take an idea to him, he'll be happy to fund. So there is no shortage of funds. It is shortage of innovation. And one thing that all of you need to get is why is Europe the founder of mobility, right? 30 years back, 40 years back, they had a need, they innovated, and they lived on it for 30 years. Today we are in a state where we have the need, and we need innovators like you to raise to the occasion and start innovating. And then we will be the leaders for the next 50, 60 years, right? So very important that you guys raise up from the application area and start looking at it from an innovation point.
Karthik, I have the same question. As an observer, right? Why do you think startups are failing, right? I mean, you are seeing some of the brands, some of the vehicles, some of the tech. Why do you think they are failing?
Basically, the fundamentals are not right. As you said, innovation. See, we are importing stuff from outside. We are just assembling it here, selling. Think if at all tariffs increase, all of a sudden, the company that's actually assembling, they have to increase their pricing. If they increase the pricing, obviously their sales drop. They don't get funding. That is why they are failing. If you get your fundamentals right, if your core, that is innovation, if you have innovation, if your fundamentals are right, then 100% there's no way that you can fail. As you said, see, innovation can be in anything. It can be in service also. Today, most of the companies are failing to see that. Service is the core. Once you sell, if you give proper service, 100% customers will come back. And adaptability. Second thing is adaptability. Today, everybody talks about range. Is anybody talking about time? For me as an end customer, when I go there, I'll have to wait for 2. If I have to travel and if I go to a charging station, I'll have to wait for 2 hours minimum for my vehicle to get completely charged. Even today, any of the companies, they just say my vehicle gives 500 kilometers range, 600 kilometers range. But are they saying my vehicles will get charged in 10 minutes, in 15 minutes? If I go to any petrol station or fuel station, time in and time out wouldn't be more than 5 minutes, right? But here in this case, it is more than 2 hours. So these are the things. This is why we are failing. This is why startups are failing. If we can, work on this and correct, obviously, there's no looking back.
Martin, you wanted.
I want to leave this. I mean, I think before we close, something which is before I forget, there's something called Digital Public Infrastructure (DPI), a new framework built on Beacon Protocol, which has been led by Mr. Nandan Nilekani, who also did the UPI framework. He's brought something similarly for energy framework. It's called Digital Public Infrastructure. This is a great opportunity for you all to start learning what this is. Using Beacon Protocol, we can actually make energy just like how UPI for payments, for finance, you can do DPI for energy. I would encourage all of you to study this, innovate on this, build some innovative solutions around using Beacon Protocol, take it to some companies. Trust me, you will become a unicorn very soon. Very few people are doing it. If you've not heard it, how many of you heard this before? DPI. If you were to do something like UPI for payments, you do UPI for energy using Beacon Protocol. At least this should be your takeaway today in this expo. Go back home, read DPI, Beacon Protocol. Just do this. I think you have, for next 20 years is secured.
Okay, I mean, some great inputs, but I want to tell you something here. Why startups fail? My answer is because they don't start up. Most of you will leave your ideas on your table. I think you should just go out, think deep. If you think there is a problem that you have in your transportation, right? I mean, if the girls feel, right, things are not secure, right? Think of a solution around EV, right? My point is, think of an idea, think deep. If possible, go and research around it. If you have no idea is a bad idea, start somewhere, right? So first startup, right? Second one, I will tell you one thing which is very, very important. Startups will fail and can fail. Most of the startups will fail. Don't worry about this. But you know what? Entrepreneurs will never fail. I spoke about founders, failed founders. If you start something, right? If you do a good project, if you do just think of an idea and build it out, right? Your career is already 10x better than others, right? Whether you want to put in the infrastructure, whether you want to look at the marketing model, whether you want to figure out something in technology, please go figure out and start working on this. And I can assure you that your career is already in 10x, right? Of course, we have our commitment saying that we are a fund focused around students will be very happy to come and help you out. But the key thing is think deep, think innovation, and start building something when you are in campus, and rest of it will happen, right? So the whole world conspires for you to be successful, right? So that's what I would want to suggest. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Any other questions?
I will end it with one last statement, yeah. One thing that I feel, the startups today think VC is their end customer, right? But
we are not, we are bad customers, yeah.
They're not customers, yeah. That's the point, right? Startups should think of their customers as VC because they need to fund, right? Business 20 years back was I open a shop thinking that a customer will come and buy something from me and I will make some money there. Today, all of us are starting a company to find a VC who can fund us, right? The mindset has to be that your customer is your VC and VC is not your customer.
Okay, I mean, finally, right? So, I mean, I want to wrap it up, right? I just want to ask one question, right? I mean, after 5 years, right? What is that we should do today so that after 5 years we don't regret that we didn't do it, right? What is that one idea that you have for today?
Okay, this is more from a government point of view. I think we should increase our GDP. We are right about 0.6% as of last report. I think as a country we should do at least, other countries like US and China does about 2.5 to 5%. From a GDP point, I think we should increase our spend on R&D. There's an opportunity on reducing our dependence on import of cells and minerals from other countries. So we recently invested in a company called Eternal which manufactures cells. So if we can look at opportunities where we are heavily dependent on other countries, take those areas and start working around those areas, I think 5 years from now we should be better off. These are two things, dependence on import and also increasing our spend. And I see a few teachers here. Please encourage your students to do research.
Right.
So I stand by that, yeah. So work on your self-sustenance, reduce the import, right? Work on ideologies, don't be scared of failing, right? We have to invest on creating products for ourselves, right? We are a huge population, right? we can self-consume most of what we create. Don't wait for a dollar revenue because the tariffs can change the scenarios any day, right? Work on product ideas that create revenue for yourself within your country, right? Actually, Ansett for that matter works only on 90% local revenue. So irrespective of the market changes, we sustain through, right? Just because we know that we have a standing customer always by ourselves.
Karthik.
Yeah, from perspective of an end user, if I have to tell you for next 5 years, what is that I would expect? First thing is, charging infrastructure. That was the bottleneck that has to be corrected. So government or even startups have to invest on it and ensure the end user doesn't suffer. Second thing is standardization. Same thing. That was also a bottleneck that has to be worked upon and work towards it. That's it.
Right. So I think I want to keep some thoughts for you, right? What is that you will regret after 5 years if you don't do something today, right? I want to tell you guys, if you don't think of an idea and if you don't think of a project or startup today, after 5 years you will feel bad, right? I told you markets are changing. The world is going to be different in 5 years. So please use your time. If you don't build something when you are in campus, the chances that you will build something after you leave the campus is less than 0.1%. This is the best time, right? This is the best time to build something, right? Before time goes out of your control, please build something, and I can assure you that you will get better of everything in your life if you build something today. That's what I would suggest you. Do well and best of luck and have a great time, right? And hope all of us will have better EVs to drive in next 2-3 years. Thanks.
Hello. May I request all the students to give a huge round of applause to the panels and to our beloved moderator as well. Well, in times like these when the technology is changing drastically, the most important thing is to work together than working in silos. And the next interesting thing is to have that inquisitiveness. I think that one thread of any topic which comes across to us, just like those thoughts that you have sown in the minds of the young students here, they'll go back home. I'm sure they'll do some reading, and one fine day it will build into a big story which they can, work wonders out of it. So thank you so much for taking your time out, dearest team, and for making this one possible. I kindly request Mr. Siddesh Kumar, HP, Creative Head at NewsFirst, to kindly join us to give away token of appreciations to our beloved moderator and the panelists. A huge round of applause, everyone. First and foremost, Mr. Suresh Narasimha, our moderator. Mr. Martin David. Come on guys, I cannot hear you. Mr. Annamalai Chokalingam. This is not the strength that I'm expecting in terms of your applause. Everybody, a huge round of applause. And Mr. Karthik Reddy. I request all of you to come closer for a group picture. Students, please keep your applause on and on and on. I request the students not to go out. Please stay back. I have something very, very interesting to let you all know. So please stay back. Thank you so much, dear panelists and moderator. All right. So how many of you all came a bit late because of Bangalore traffic or any reason? Raise your hands. Okay. So those of them who came early, I have given them a list of questions. You know why? As I said, to be inquisitive, to go and ask them a specific question. So please note down these questions as soon as possible. All right, and for you guys who have noted down, I have something else as well. All right, so the first question is, there's a 7-seater EV, okay, a 7-seater EV vehicle which is present in this expo. You have to find out what is that, okay? The brand name, the model name, end to end, you have to find out.